really takes a special book to get me to want to write. There's nothing else that I've read that has quite felt like that. You just met her. So stuff like that to me is just not necessarily my favorite. So I say that to say, I think this is gonna be a DNF, and Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I created a new like reader chat type channel thing, and I put up a poll to ask you guys what video you guys wanted to see next on here, and the majority of the people that voted in that chat voted for me to read Christmas books for a week. So that is what we're going to be doing. If you don't know anything about me, I am usually not a Christmas reader. I am not someone who like my favorite thing about Christmas is the Christmas books. However, something about this year is so different for me. I'm actually looking forward to reading Christmassy books like you have no idea, to the point where I was kind of like hoping fall passes. Listen, okay, I'm a fall girly through and through. However, this year is kind of shocking me, okay? With that being said, I have some books here that I have on my shelves that I had not read yet for Christmas books, because I tend to buy a lot of books and then sometimes read them. Anyways, so we're gonna go through kind of like the options that I have, and then we'll get into the actual Christmas reading. I'm probably only gonna read like 3 or 4 books this week, but we will see. The first book, and the one that I think I wanna start first, is The Christmas Wish by Lindsay Kelk. I also am gonna say that I have no idea what any of these books are about, so I'm literally just gonna like rapid fire through them. But Emily Henry did a blurb on this book on the front, which is why I wanna read it. There are no other reasons. I also have A Season for Second Chances, The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary, Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, The Santa Suit, Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop, which I am aware is the second book, so I do already have the first book, which is The Christmas Bookshop, loaded on my Spotify, and I have the Kindle version because it's on Kindle Unlimited. Unleashed Holiday by Victoria Shade. I'm gonna try to keep the books that I read this week from this list and not go outside of this list. Okay, hi guys, it's the next day and I wanted to give you an update because I already finished a book. And if you don't know why that would be kind of crazy, I've been in the throes of a reading slump to the point where like I can't even remember the last time that I fully binged a book like I just did this last one yesterday. Or this morning actually. So I wanted to talk about my reading plans from now on, but the book that I started last night is not the same book that I started yesterday. Yesterday, whenever I spoke to you guys first, I think I was talking about The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan, and I still am reading that. But then last night before I went to bed, I just wanted something that was like cute and fun, and so I ended up picking up A Cliche Christmas by Nicole Deese, and I ended up finishing it this morning. I got the audiobook on Audible because it was like included in my membership or whatever, and I pretty much spent the morning baking and cleaning, and so I literally binged the entire audiobook while I was doing all of that stuff, and it was so freaking cute. It really takes a special book to get me to want to write, especially if it's a romance book. I feel like romance books, while I do generally love, because I love romance, I just don't ever feel inspired to write because of them. And with this one, I did. You're following this girl who is a screenwriter for Hallmark movies, and she did like pageant plays and stuff like that. And her grandmother asks her to write this play for a pageant that they're putting on, the whole town is putting on, for a girl in the town who has cancer. And so she did it, and she ends up meeting this guy. It's a second chance romance. It was so sweet. It was so sweet. I genuinely loved that so much. It's a Christian romance, so it's obviously there's like no spice in it, and I just had all of the heartwarming, like cozy feelings, because it is a Christmas read. And I loved it. I loved it. And to everyone that's been telling me to read Nicole Deese, I absolutely should have been listening, and I will be listening from now on, because now I want to pick up another one of her books. But instead, the book that I went back to was The Christmas Bookshop, because I would really like to finish that so that I can get into Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop. But we already have one book down for this video, and I'm genuinely so excited or so happy that I read this, because it's just it was so cute. It was only 5 hours long though, so like I feel like if you're looking for a book that you can really settle into, probably not the one, because it's very, very short. But I also think in another way, I think I really, really needed that. I just needed a book that I could get through very quickly, and this just so happened to be that. But I also really enjoyed the main character. I feel like that's also a big thing for me too. Like obviously if you can't enjoy reading about the main character, you're not going to enjoy the book. I sometimes find it difficult with Christian romances to really fall in love with the main character. I don't know why. There's just like seems to be some kind of like connectivity issue there. But with this one, I actually really enjoyed her. I thought she was so fun. I thought she was interesting, and that I feel like her and I were kind of similar, but also not really at all. So I didn't really have that like relatability there necessarily, but I still really, really enjoyed her, reading about her and all that stuff. So I'm having fun with it. I'm on to the Christmas Bookshop right now, which I think I'm like 20% of the way through that. And that one's also really fun so far. You're following two sisters, and one of them, Carmen, is basically like the exact opposite of her older sister. Her older sister, her life is all put together. She has a husband, she has 3 kids and 1 on the way. She has this big house, and Carmen very much feels like left behind in her sister's shadow, just like completely rebellious because she's the second child. Carmen's sister Sophia ends up getting her a job because Carmen really needs a job. She's jobless at this point, working at this bookstore. And it's just so cute. She's helping this old man make sure that he doesn't lose his bookstore. Honestly, frankly, the vibes are giving everything that I want right now. So I think what I'm about to do is probably just like settle in for the night. I think I'm gonna go change into some sweats because it's like really cold in this house. And I need to work on my Christmas blanket. I literally just have only got the first row done. It's actually sitting right here. I only have the first row done, so I need to make some progress because it's already November 11th. So I'm gonna do that, and we're just gonna kind of like chill out for the rest of the night, to be honest with you. Okay, let's do an update because I think it's been a couple of days since I've updated you guys, but I did end up finishing Christmas with a Crank by Courtney Walsh yesterday. I started a series on TikTok where I'm like trying to read a book a day, and so I just went ahead and finished the audiobook for that. And I just wanted to update y'all and tell y'all that I genuinely loved that book so much. If you guys have been following along with like my short form content at all, I've been talking about how I was transitioning from books with spice in them to trying to find books without spice for various reasons. I don't really read the spice anyways, just because I don't really enjoy it. It's not a favorite thing of mine. On top of that, I realized that like I was paying for books just to like skip parts of them. So I realized I was just like, okay, well, why not just not do that and just like try to find books without any spice in them. And so Courtney Walsh got recommended to me a ton. I have her book, The Summer of Yes. I obviously did not want to read that. I wanted to read a wintry book, and she has a couple Christmas books out, and she actually is, I think, just coming out with a new one or just came out with a new one. So then I picked up Christmas with a Crank a couple of days ago, and I absolutely adored that book. Her writing kind of reminds me of Megan Quinn, and if you know, I used to love Megan Quinn, and I still do. Like, I love her Instagram and I love her TikToks. Because I'm not reading spice anymore, really. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna necessarily want to pick up a ton of her books anymore. Again, not because she's a bad writer. Like, I genuinely loved her books. They were so fun and so fluffy to read. Finding Courtney Walsh has literally been like a saving grace, because that book specifically, I don't know if it's all of her books, but like I know for sure that book very much gave Megan Quinn vibes, just with like how vibrant her characters are and just how they interact with each other it feels very, very similar. And so if you like Megan Quinn, but you want Megan Quinn without the spice, I would highly recommend Courtney Walsh. There's nothing else that I've read that has quite felt like that. So I'm really, really happy that I did read it. We're following Olive. Prior to when the story takes place, she had this like shop that she had made. It was kind of like a boutique type deal because she's very artsy, very craftsy, but she pretty much failed at it. That shop had to close down. It did not end up making it like she hoped it would. And she's living in this small town where this guy that she used to really have a crush on, he used to live in the town. His family is a big part of the town because they own this Christmas tree farm. Every year they do like this big Christmas thing for the town, and they're just like a very, very central part of the town. MMC, he does not want to be a part of it. He does not want to take over the farm. He does not want, like, he just does not have fond memories of living in this area, living in this town, because of how much he was expected to take it over. And so we're following Olive and Liam. Liam, his family is getting ready to sell the tree farm because they just can't keep it open anymore. Olive really wants to keep it up, and someone from Liam's family is like, hey, let's try to keep this open. Let's see what we can do. And they end up like trying to put on the best Christmas that they've ever had in this area. It was really, really sweet. There was no spice in it whatsoever. So if you're looking for like something fun and Christmassy with no spice, obviously it's a really great option. So with that being said, I think this will probably be the final book for this video. I'm not sure. We're gonna see because it is already Friday, but I do want to obviously finish this book. But I'm reading Meet Me at the Grand by Lindsay Harrell. This was another one that I had been recommended to me a couple of times, and I also saw it on Kindle Unlimited as I was just like kind of going through their library. And to my knowledge, this is also a Christian romance, which I'm super excited about. I literally got like 2% into it, so I'm just probably just gonna keep listening to my audiobook. Okay, we ran into a slight problem with the reading. So I'm reading, obviously, Meet Me at the Grand by Lindsay Harrell. I started this yesterday and I'm about like 51% of the way through it, and I just am not enjoying it. Like, I was really hoping that I would, because the overall idea of it being like kind of a hotel renovation, save the island, like let's, you know, make sure we keep Christmas and keep the vibes and everything. Like, I really enjoy that idea, and I do tend to like those like Hallmarky kind of Christmas movies and stories and stuff like that. But something about this just feels like it's dragging entirely too long, and I feel like in like a Christmas romance like this, that's not something that you necessarily want. Like, you want there to be, like, you don't want to get bored, obviously. It might just be that like I've been reading too many Christmas books, which like I think I've only read like 4, maybe more than that. I don't know. I need to go back and look. Let's see how many we've read, because that might also be it too. Okay, so I read A Cliche Christmas was the first one. I really enjoyed that. Then I read Christmas with the Crank. I've also been listening to the Christmas Bookshop somewhere in there. And now I'm on Meet Me at the Grand. So I've only finished 2 Christmas books. This is technically like the 3rd one that I'm physically reading. So it's not that I've like read too many in a row or anything like that. I just genuinely am not really vibing with this book. I feel like the tension, like, first of all, it also kind of feels like, in a way, Insta lovey. Not that they're getting together too soon, but they just like, I feel like, for me, have formed feelings for each other far too soon. And especially for 2 people that like never met before. Like, it's different if it's a second chance romance. Obviously there are feelings already there, and so it would make sense for them to have to deal with those feelings fairly early on. But with this, like, she just met him and he just met her, and I think it was around like 30% of the way through he was talking about how like he already liked her or was like starting to like her, and that to me is just far too quickly for my taste. That's just like a preference thing. Maybe I'm being too picky, I don't know. I just don't enjoy stuff like that. Like, I want a little bit more tension. I want it to be drawn out a little bit more. I want there to be more yearning involved, you get what I'm saying? And like, I do feel like Christmas with a Crank, for example, I really enjoyed that book because while it wasn't necessarily a second chance romance, there was an acknowledgement of feelings, but it wasn't something that was like driving the main characters, I guess, if that makes sense. It's a whole different vibe, and because they don't know each other, I feel like it just changes the dynamic and it changes how long it should take them to like start to form feelings for each other, because by all intents and purposes, I think by this point they had only spent like 3 days together. They have not known each other for very long. Like, he was supposed to only be there for a weekend or like for a couple of days, and we are just now 40-50% of the way through. We're just now getting to where he is supposed to be leaving. So like, what do you mean? You know, what do you mean you're already starting to like her? You just met her. So stuff like that to me is just not necessarily my favorite. So I say that to say, I think this is gonna be a DNF, and I'm really sad about that. I was really hoping this was gonna be like my next favorite Christmas read, but alas, it is not. So I don't know exactly what I want to read next. I need to figure something else out. Okay, I've decided that I'm gonna start A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh because I feel like I just need a banger. Given how much I loved Christmas with a Crank, I think we're just gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna go for it. This also seems to be a really short book too. It's 6 hours and 34 minutes for the audiobook. So let's get into it. Also, I just need to show you guys this case that I got from Lash Next Door. Brooklyn and Bailey have their own brand called Lash Next Door, and they have like clothes and stuff like that. And whoever does their PR sent me a pajama set, a sweater, and then this Kindle case. And it genuinely is like the cutest thing ever. I was wanting a Christmassy Kindle case anyways, and so like this is like perfect. Thank you to Lash Next Door. That's so cutie. Hi guys, it is a couple of days later, it's Monday now, and I just started A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. I think I told you guys last week that I was going to end up starting this book just because I wanted something that I knew was going to end off on a high note, and I'm only 9 pages in, which is about 6% of the way through this book. This is like a super short book. I was surprised at how short it is. It's only 244 pages. So my plan is just to sit and binge this today. I don't know a ton about this book other than we're following our main character, Lauren. Lauren's older brother is about to have a kid, and it's also Christmas, so her brother obviously wants her to come home for Christmas. He sets up this ride with his best friend, Will, who Lauren does not have a great history with. Like, it's kind of been alluded to, like, he broke her heart in some way, but we don't really know how or even if, like, it's a legitimate heartbreak. We're just kind of, like, in the beginning stages of her waiting for Will to get into the car and, like, for them to be able to go and travel together. So I automatically assume that this book is going to be so cute. One thing that I do really enjoy, if it's going to be taking place on a cross-country road trip, tend to get kind of bored with those books if they're too long. So the fact that it's only 244 pages from start to end, I feel like is really going to work well, because I feel like it'll be able to move quickly enough, but hopefully the pacing isn't off to the point where it feels like it's too quickly. I don't know. I'm just curious to see how Courtney Walsh is going to pull this off, but given how much I enjoyed Christmas with the Crank, I do think she will. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun, and I think it'll be a jolly good time. I quite literally want to beat her parents like they stole something. Because they did steal something. Her childhood. Okay, hi guys. I finished A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh, and I just wanted to talk about it. I know that I read Christmas with the Crank by Courtney Walsh, and after I finished reading that, I was like, oh my god, like I love that book so much. It has to be my favorite Courtney Walsh book. It's so good. Yeah. So take that, but then like this was even better. I genuinely loved this book so much, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, more than I enjoyed Christmas with the Crank. And that's literally not to say anything about Christmas with the Crank, because I still love that book, but just the depth that this book had. I absolutely adored how lighthearted and fun Christmas with the Crank felt compared to this one. This one felt different in that it was a little bit more emotional, because the storylines that you had that kind of backed it were more emotional, because you had issues with the FMC's family that she was kind of working through, and then the MMC had some issues of his own that he was also working through, but just kind of like in a different way. And just the way that everything went about, I told you guys how I was kind of curious about how the timeline and pacing was going to work, given that it was such a short book. And I feel like she did such a good job of putting so much into this book without it feeling like I had whiplash. Like there were so many things that went on that the main characters did, and that just like that overall ended up happening, but it didn't feel rushed, and it didn't feel like we were just like jumping around from place to place. Like it genuinely felt like there was a nice flow to everything. And if you hear the dogs barking, it is close to their dinner time, so they are freaking out right now. But just overall, this book was beautiful. This has to be my favorite road trip book ever. I think I told y'all I got in contact with the author, and she said she was gonna send me some stuff, so I genuinely hope that she sends me this book so I can have a physical copy of it, because oh my gosh, it gave me that 5-star feeling, which it's been so long since I've had that feeling. I literally felt like I wanted to tear up by the end of this book, and that rarely ever happens to me with just like normal romance books. So I'm so happy that I've read this, and I'm so excited to get into more of Courtney Walsh's books. I own the Summer of Yes by her, and she has like a really big catalog, like background catalog, so I'm really excited to get more into those books. I think I'm in the fantasy mood now, so this is gonna be the end of this video, and I'm gonna start a new reading vlog tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to find my face on any other place on the internet, just go ahead and check all the links in my description. Aside from that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.